whenever you're looking at your mini map, you see your star there, like you see your star, and you see your teammate right on top, right? If your initial reaction is like, I'm gonna suck, no, like come on, like you have to have at least like 0.5 IQ, you know?
Drop it.
So Omen, let me explain why Omen is S tier. Because he has everything in his kit that allows you to play for yourself, but it also allows you to play for your teammates. Smokes are extremely useful in this game, and his smokes coming up and having basically infinite smokes over the course of the round is really strong. His blind, in my opinion, is one of the best abilities in the game, if not, and it's even better than some ultimates. In my opinion, I think some people might disagree, but I think Omen ult or Omen blind is better than Breach ult. I think it's also better than Cypher ult. Omen S tier. Jack of all trades, can do anything. Very easy to learn. Very easy to play. It's as soon as you learn how his smokes mechanics work, Omen is definitely an S tier agent when you're playing in ranked. Let's talk about Breach, okay? I'm gonna put him in B because I said solo/duo queue. If it was only solo queue, I would have put him in C. But I'm putting him in B, and this is why. Because a good Jett Breach combo together can win entire games alone. And the argument was solo and duo queue, which is why I'm putting him in B and not in C. Because if it was only solo, it would have been C. His flash is extremely strong when you can have your teammates play around his flash. You cannot use Breach flash for yourself. If you are, it's counterintuitive. You're wasting your time. You're going to end up dying. There's no chance you're able to get good kills and proper kills flashing for yourself at a high enough level. His stun is really strong to get ops off of angles. But it's very situational. His aftershock, very situational. And his ult, very situational. Let's go with Killjoy. Okay. S or A? Killjoy. In comp, I'll put A. For the main reason that Killjoy players are very predictable. That's why she's not S. If you're an unpredictable Killjoy, I would put you in S. But on average, a comp player playing Killjoy is very predictable in the way they have their setups, in the way that they're playing, whenever they have their ults, their positioning, what they're going to do. Very predictable at all ranks, which is why she's A and not S. Lineups are well known. You know on Ascent, for example, that she's going to have her setup for like lane on the site. Killjoy in A because the Killjoys are predictable. That's why Killjoy's in A here. Everything that she does, that Killjoy does, is extremely strong. Her ultimate is one of the best in the game when used properly. It can be easily countered by Brim or Sova, but Brim being out of the meta makes that only Sova can really kill it. Some Raze blast back lineups at high elo, but that doesn't really, you don't really take that into consideration. So I think Killjoy ult is really good. Her Molly alarm bot is extremely strong, especially the combo. But her best thing about Killjoy is her turret, especially pistol rounds, especially eco rounds. To get information, to do damage, to slow people, it does everything. That's why I put Killjoy in A. I would say in S only if you can, if more Killjoys are more creative and will have basically infinite quote-unquote setups. But Killjoys don't have infinite quote-unquote setups, so that's why it doesn't really happen. You guys want to have the Jett conversation? Let's have the Jett conversation. In comp? Fuck. Jett is hard. Because a good Jett is nuts. I have to put her in S tier. I have to put Jett in S tier because of her knives. Her ultimate and the dash. The two things, in my opinion, is what putting Jett in S tier. Because if you're crazy good, Tyler, 100% agree. Jett is made by the player, but like so is Reyna, for example, right? But I wouldn't put Reyna in S because Jett knives is 100% free. Like it's not a gun. You don't have to pay for it. It's literally just 6 ult orbs and can win an entire round, right? One ultimate can win an entire round if you're a good player. And the dash is one of the most busted things with an op or making plays on attack wise. Tyler, I disagree. I 100% disagree with you. I think that you could be trash with Jett and just dashing in, making space for your team. You could be trash at the game, but just the concept of having a Jett on the team, throw a smoke on a site, or throw 2 smokes on the site, dash into one of them, and your team push afterwards, you can instantly die after that. But just that space making that you have because of your dash is enough for me to put her in S with the ult, obviously. Those two together, in my opinion, make Jett an S. And the off angles that you can do with her updrafts and things like that also add into play. I'm putting Jett in S tier in comp. Next is Sova. Ooh, Sova's a good conversation to have because Sova at a high tier game is indispensable. You need a Sova on almost every single map. Unless it's split. Maybe Breeze, but hasn't been played too much at the top tier level, so we don't really know. That said, at a low tier, Sova I'm going to give the argument that Sova is useless at low elo. Because you can't play off your own utility very well. You can't really play off of your drone because you're in a drone. You can't play off your arrow if you're using a lineup. It's really hard for you to play off of your own utility. Which is why I'm averaging him around A, because he's S at high level of gameplay. No, I didn't put him D. It was just kind of hovering. At high level, like Immortal, Radiant, even Diamond maybe, he's a S. But like anywhere below Plat, he's like a C. So that's why I'm putting him in A, because he's really strong. Brim. Brim is hard. Brim B. I think Brim is B. His smokes are really strong. He's not C because lineups are bullshit in this game. So I'm putting him in B. If you're playing like a Brim lineup and having your ult and just farming Brimstone ult, like it's just really, really strong. Yeah. That's why I'm putting him in B and not C. I don't think he's anywhere above A. Anywhere above B though. So that's why I'm putting him in B. I think he's pretty solid. Yoru, I'm going to put in B as well. Yeah, I agree. I think I'm putting Yoru in B because he is not really a pub stoppy character. And he's really good whenever people are playing around his utility. Like I've seen at high level, like I've seen at tier 2 level, like NA tier 2. People are playing Yoru on like Ascent. People are playing Yoru on a Haven. Like these tier 2 teams are running it. You can say like they're pug stars or whatever, but it really works. It's exactly it, Tyler. He forces people to be on their toes, but if people are playing him well and properly and with utility, right? But if you're not playing him in a good way, it's kind of very, very predictable how Yoru's going to play. Very predictable. So that's why I'm putting him in B, because of the predictability of people in ranked, the average person in rank. Obviously, if you put him in the right hands, like Red Val or anything like that, he's going to be like A, if not S tier, probably closer to A. But that's why I'm putting him in B. He might even be C. Maybe I put him in C tier. Yeah, I'm putting him in C. You think Yoru's kind of sick? The question is, would I rather have a Yoru or a Brim on my team? And the answer will 100% of the time be a Brim. Like, I never am I going to... Like, even a Breach. Alright, Viper. Is Viper S? No, Viper's A now. Because in comp, the Viper is A and not S, because the new nerf on Viper makes it that she's not indispensable. I would honestly always rather have an S. Yeah, Raven, so this is my tier list for solo or duo queue in comp. So not in a team setting and anything like that. Solo, duo queue. This is my tier list for each agent, okay? Cypher is D because his utility is not used properly ever. Like you have kill trips on site, which is easily destroyable by utility. Very predictable, that can be shot. And it doesn't really give you information when they're just randomly on site. His cages are the only thing good about him, because his cam gets shot 45 seconds for it to come back up. And your ultimate is extremely hard to use. He's in D tier in my opinion. But back to the answer to the Viper question. I think Viper is A and not S because the recent nerfs make it that the amount of damage that you're taking walking out, or the amount of health that you have walking out, right? If you're at 150, you walk out of the wall, you're not 120. 120 is a hard number to hit because Sheriff is still 3 shots, right? Marshall is still 3 shots. Phantom is now 3 shots instead of 2. You know, sorry, it's 4 shots instead of 3 still. Vandal, it's 3 shots instead of 4, which is okay. But the amount of damage, or impactful damage, I should say, of the decay brings her back to being not that good anymore, right? And makes it that also on her lineups are really good. But if somebody's full HP and they go into her Viper smoke, they can start now with that extra 20 HP. They can start diffusing and possibly getting it half, even if you're getting mollied and like you're in the Viper smoke, and still get a half. You might have to give up your life for it, but you still might get half because of that extra 2 seconds maybe of that extra health that you're getting. So because of the recent nerfs, I put her in. Okay, guys, you guys might not agree with me. I think Sage and Comp is S tier. I think a good Sage, not even a good Sage. I think even all after the nerfs, I think Sage and Comp is S tier. This is my reasoning. Off angles that you could do with her wall is really, really strong at high elo. It's really, really strong at low elo. The wall also cuts off a lot of information and delays a lot, even at high elo. Like you'll see in Radiant games right now, like on Breeze, for example, they're just walling off a choke point at the beginning of a round, right? Like you might think that that's not like very top tier level gameplay, right? Like Radiant top 0.1%, but it's super strong to just wall that off and force them to have to break every piece of the wall and not be able to rush through. It's super, super strong. But yes, Sage, that's just her wall. Her slows are extremely, extremely strong if you're playing around her slows and comboing shit with her slows. Sage slow into Raze nades, Sage slow into shock darts, into mollies, and to slow into like a flash around a corner, into a peek. Just a slow whenever they're pushing to stop a rush. It's so strong. And then that's just her utility. Then we talk about her heal. Even if it's on a 45 seconds and even if it's only 60 heal for everybody else, it's 5 seconds. For her, it's 10 seconds. The idea that you're able to heal your teammates like that is super strong. And then don't forget her res. You're able to literally a 6v5 every time you're able to get your ultimate. I think that Sage is S tier. Like if you think about it, Sage is S tier in comp. I'm putting Cypher in D tier. This is my reasoning. Jett dash breaks Cypher trips. Okay, the reason is because in comp, people don't use Cypher trips for info. They use Cypher trips as kill trips, and that's not good. Any utility, so Raze nade, Raze blast pack, Jett dash, Sova shock darts, are all ways that you can break those trips. And especially a Cypher that's predictable, you don't even need to use utility. You just spam in the corners where you think the trips are. His trips are not useless, okay? Now you can think about his cam. His cam is really good, but on a 45-second cooldown after being shot is not good. So people that are putting their cams in spots that gets you quick information but gets shot, now you're useless. You don't have a cam, you don't have any eyes anymore. And your cages is the only good thing about them because it can block off line of sight, but it only lasts 7 seconds. And it doesn't slow anymore like it used to in the beta. It only makes a sound. And his ult is so hard to use. It's the worst ult in the game. Cypher is D tier in comp. Think about Raze. I think Raze is S or A. Is Raze S? Is Raze S, chat? Yes, I put Raze S. Raze is S tier, and this is why. She is jack of all trades, like kind of like an Omen, but doesn't have smokes, but has info with her boombot. The nade is extremely strong to clear corners and to do a lot of chip damage and to combo with your teammates. A good Raze or any Raze being able to use the blast packs to get into off angles and any above average Raze using it for movement is really strong. And her ultimate is one of the best in the game if you're able to hit it. It's hard to hit, but if you're able to hit it, it can literally turn around even if you're down a man. But yeah, I think Raze is extremely strong because of everything that her kit brings to the team. There's nothing bad that her kit brings. Nothing's hard to use. Let's go with Reyna. I want to put her in B so bad, but she has to be A, right? I want to put her in B so bad. I'm putting her in B. And this is my reasoning. With only having 2 sucks now, like 2 altar or 2 orbs or whatever you want to call them, makes it that Reyna's only really useful whenever she's in her ult. Like she's like, yeah, you can get a free kill and dismiss out, sure, but I don't think that warrants her being an A tier. That's the only thing Reyna has is her dismiss. Everything else is not good about her. Everything else is trash. The only thing Reyna has is her dismiss. It's 100%. Once you get a kill, you're 100% untradeable. You get out for free. That's why she's OP. Or that's the only reason why she's played. But in comp, I think she's B because her dismiss is not used properly enough. I think that her blinds are not used in a proper way. She's not pleeking off her blinds. They're not using blinds enough for info, which is a big thing that you see as well in pro play and high level of play. I'm putting her B. And at least Phoenix. I think I put Phoenix in A. I think Phoenix is extremely strong, but the best thing about Phoenix is his ultimate. 100% I think Phoenix's best ability is his ultimate. His flashes are average at best. His molly and his wall is good because it cuts off line of sight. mostly used to heal himself. Yeah, okay, so his ultimate is the only good, basically the only good thing about Phoenix. Everything else is average, but his ultimate is strong. If you farm ult orbs and you get Phoenix the bomb and he's the one planning and he's the one getting those ores, you can have a Phoenix ult every 2 rounds, if not 3, right? Why is Phoenix ult 6? I don't know. Who allowed that? Yep. I don't know. Don't ask me who allowed that, but that's that. Phoenix, I'm putting him in A for the main reason why his ult is one of the best ults in the game. Skye and Astra. So as Skye and Astra, the more organized your team gets, and the more like synergy you get, the better these agents get. So the question, let's ask the question: can you play the agent badly? And the answer for Skye is yes. So I'm putting Skye in B, because Skye, you can have a bad Skye that flashes your teammates, that's not healing properly, that's getting very greedy, that's ulting in situations that are irrelevant. I wouldn't put C. I think that she is very strong. I think that Skye is very strong and the people are underutilizing her. Because whenever she came out, not many people played her because there was a set meta. But now that the meta is kind of swapping around and there's a lot of new agents coming in, I think that not many people are good Skye players, which make it that she's not really seen much. But I do think that Skye is really strong. The reasons why she's not A and she's B instead is because that you can be a bad Skye. I'm putting Astra, however, in A because it's very hard to be a bad Astra. Yeah, you can wall in a situation where it's really bad for your team, or you can suck your teammates, but that's a very niche scenario, and most of the time that doesn't happen. But it's like a really bad Astra. Like, you can be a really bad Astra, but most of the time you're sucking whenever you're looking at the minimap. And during that time that you're looking at the minimap, you can see if your teammate is next to the star, right? Like, whenever you're looking at your minimap, you see your star there. Like, you see your star, and you see your teammate right on top, right? If your initial reaction is like, I'm going to suck. No. Like, come on. Like, you have to have at least, like, 0.5 IQ, you know? That's why I'm putting Astra A, because it's really hard to be a bad Astra in comp. Breach might go C. I think Breach might go C. Because, like, if you look at these 3 agents here, would I rather a Skye over a Breach? And the answer, like, if they're both the same level, everybody's solo queue, would I rather a Skye over a Breach? Ooh, I don't know. Actually, yeah, I don't know. Because Skye has a heal and has a dog, but Skye can also flash the teammates. Do I move Breach down? Or do I move Skye down? No, Skye doesn't move down, I don't think. I think it's even. I feel like they're both even, but for different reasons, but they both average down to B. You much prefer Skye? There's also the question about maps. Okay, let's think about maps. What maps is Breach good? Or what maps is Breach is good in Split, but Skye is also good in Split. Breach is good in Ascent. Skye, I would not say is really good in Ascent. Skye is good in Haven. I don't think Breach is good in Haven. So right now it's 1-1. Skye's better on Breeze. 2-1. What's the last map I'm missing? Icebox? Skye's better on Icebox. So yeah, Skye is better on more maps than Breach. Yeah, I think I agree with that thought process, and with that reasoning, I think I put Breach on a C instead. Yep, this is my tier list, guys. I think that's official.